Slindelo, quite a few promises they made by the ANC, Zizi Kodwa. Did the families of those affected and those who died indeed in the Esidimeni tragedy believe Kodwa?
They certainly went home today with a little bit more hope than what they arrived with this morning when they went to protest outside the offices of the Gauteng Premier. As you would understand, as you saw from the visuals actually transpiring throughout the day, the families, while they were outside the Premier's office, we did actually have an interview with the Gauteng government spokesperson, Thabo Masebe, and that's where we really saw tempers flaring, people really getting upset with what Thabo Masebe was saying, accusing him of lying and even accusing government of trying to really steal this compensation money. So they were really not satisfied with the answers they got at the Premier's office, and that is when they headed to Luthuli House in order to really get a response from the President himself, knowing that on Mondays the ANC top 6 meets at Luthuli House, and so that is where they made their way, and instead they were received by NEC member Zizi Kodwa, who met with them privately. They selected around 4 representatives to go into that meeting because they were told that all of the boardrooms are occupied, and so in order to be able to really hear what they were there for, Zizi suggested that 4 representatives come in, and that certainly happened. And it seemed that that meeting really came out with some positive results. The family is really satisfied with the commitments made by Mr. Kodwa that he would make all efforts to get in touch with the Gauteng Premier and ensure that this issue is resolved as soon as possible.
For the benefit of clarity then, Slindelo, what we are dealing with here is not the group of families who were involved in the arbitration process with the former Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke. What we are dealing with, as I understand it, are families who say their loved ones either died or were harmed within the period covered by the arbitration process. So one would be interested to find out when they first made contact with the Gauteng government and if there was ever any correspondence between the two parties since the inquiry wrapped up.
But that's really the issue at hand. We're getting one side of the family saying, listen, I was covered by that arbitration process. I was part of that group. I was part of that list, rather, that was read out by the former Deputy Chief Justice. If you remember in March when the award was read out, the former Deputy Chief Justice made it a point to read out each of the names into the record in order to, really put some a face to the name rather than a number, really saying that it was important to do so. So what government is saying is that those names on those lists, those have been paid and the deadline was met. The deadline was in June, 3 months after the award was read out. But we saw some family members today who are actually covered by that list who say they also still have not been paid. But majority of the families that we saw coming out today were those that have come after that arbitration process, because the award did specify to say that while the award, while there's a list that's been read out, the former Deputy Chief Justice made it a point to say that there will be families that will come forward after that. And it is those people that now need to be vetted. A verification process needs to unfold in order to ensure that monies are paid to the correct family members. And what we're hearing from government is that there are disputes occurring, and also people are not really coming forward with those certificates saying that they are indeed those family members, and that is why this process is dragging. But from the families that we heard today, they're saying that they're really being sent from pillar to post, and they're seeing that government is really dragging their feet. The last deadline they got was today, and government failed to meet that deadline today once again.
One more thing, Slee, that I've been curious about throughout these protests today is whether we've seen the same level of support that the initial group of families had. I remember when the Esidimeni arbitration process began, those families had a lot of support from NGOs and the like. Does this group of families have the same, or are they basically on their own here?
It really looks like they're on their own. There was really nobody from an NGO that I saw coming out today to support them. They are really just fighting this battle on their own. Hence, they really went to Luthuli House as a last resort in order to get government's attention.
ENC reporter Slindelo Masikane keeping a watch for us on that story.